Hi there, this is the first Reef Health update from the Marine Park Authority for 2020, and it's my last Reef Health update for the time being, as Dr. Dave will be back with us from next week. Let's start by looking at thermal stress in the marine park. I'm pleased to report that we're currently seeing average typical conditions for this time of year, so that's encouraging. But we can dive into the data a little bit more and look at this map, which is showing accumulated heat stress in the marine park. Now it's measuring degree heating days, so that's the number of days for any given region experiencing above average temperatures. You can see that for most of the marine park, where it's that green colour, we're experiencing little to no accumulated heat stress. Where it's a paler green, from Mackay south, particularly the inshore, there we're starting to see some accumulation of heat stress, even over a few weeks. And that is potentially leading to some bleaching of some corals in that area. Also, in the far north, you can see there's some paler green, and that's suggesting, again, low levels of accumulated heat stress. If we switch to looking at conditions right now, we can see that there's a pool of hot water sitting over that northern region. And that's likely to add to that accumulation of heat stress in the north over the coming days. However, we do know from the Bureau of Meteorology that we're expecting some cloud and rain in North Queensland, and if that does eventuate, it should help to cool off that region and then balance out those conditions, so we're looking forward to that. Looking ahead to February and March, we can use the model from the Bureau of Meteorology to forecast temperature stress. That model is predicting that we'll have a moderate risk of heat stress for the centre and northern sections of the marine park. In contrast, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is predicting moderate risk of heat stress, more likely from the Townsville to Whitsundays region of the marine park. Now, I don't think that we need to get too caught up in the fact that these models aren't in complete agreement. They are both suggesting moderate risk of heat stress. And we also know that the prevailing conditions over the next few weeks will really be critical in determining whether or not we see any significant coral bleaching this summer and where in fact that might be. So for the Marine Park Authority, we're very much in a watch situation right now. I'd also like to talk about some reports that we've been getting from reefs inshore of the Palm Islands, so that's reefs just north of Townsville, and also some reefs inshore of the Whitsundays. We've been getting reports of inundation of macroalgae on some of these reefs. What that means is that some portions of those reefs have large thickets of algae covering them and low levels of adult corals and juvenile corals. Now, we know from the Whitsundays region that Cyclone Debbie in 2017 caused quite significant loss of coral, but the recovery of that coral has been impeded by poor water quality conditions in that region, so that's high turbidity combined with low water flow. And what that does is it creates conditions between macroalgae and corals that actually favour the macroalgae, meaning that they can outcompete corals and prevent the re-establishment of those corals. We've also got data from one reef that is showing that the early colonising algae, so the red algae, has actually been replaced by a more persistent brown algae. And that is concerning because that algae can actually, again, outcompete corals and actually lock those reefs into a cycle where they remain in an algae-dominated state. So from a Marine Park Authority perspective, we really need to know more about what algae is out there and where and how much of it. And that's where you can come in. If you happen to be in the region, consider downloading our Eye on the Reef app, and you can provide us a quick update of what kind of area the algae is covering and what colour it is. Or if you're feeling more ambitious, you could undertake one of our rapid monitoring surveys. You can find out more about these at our website. What they basically involve is a 10-minute timed swim over a portion of the reef, and you'd be reporting on the type of algae that you're seeing, the colour, and what percentage of that reef is covered with that algae. You'd also be telling us what fish you're seeing, because the fish are really important in terms of recovery of the reef. So certain types of fish can remove that algae and actually help those corals re-establish. If you can combine that with some photos, that's really great. And you can even sign up for an online program to improve your observational skills through that rapid monitoring survey. That's it from me for now. Thanks very much for watching, and a Happy New Year.